Hi guys, Aceface back with another video for you. Got another special Las Vegas Open preparation game. Hope you've been enjoying the Road to Las Vegas Open 2016, proudly sponsored by Wargames, and that's right, we are here today with Martin.
Hello, eating Haribo.
Eating Haribo. So we're here today, and this is a game I've been looking forward to playing. I get to play Martin at Wargames, so really excited. The board looks awesome. Terrain by Inside Out Terrain, which is looking epic, nice and themed Tau, which is what we like. Today we are playing, as always at the moment, ITC rules. We are playing ITC Mission 3, which is kill points. So purge the alien with modified Maelstrom as secondary. So I think this one favours me. I think this is probably my favourite mission, even though I've not played it yet. It definitely is one that suits a small model count. So we'll see how this goes. Martin is running his Tau. I'm running my Tau. He's running his White Scars, which we'll go over the lists in a second. But I'm looking forward to playing this. This is going to be a real mobile, fast, hard-hitting army that's going to come up and smash me straight in the face if I don't deal with it. So yeah, so we've got obviously me castled up in the corner, and Martin over here in his line getting ready to scout up. I am going second at the moment. Martin is going first. I did also fail to infiltrate before him, so I couldn't push him back, which is not good for me. But yeah, so it's going to be epic. I'll come back in a second and I'll see whether I can seize. Okay, so this is my 1850 points of Tau. By now you're very familiar with this list, which is list A or list 1. I can't remember what I called it in the beginning. But basically this is my drone list, where we have the commander in Iridian armour with the drone controller. He has flanked by his drone formation, which is the four sets of marker drones. Behind are the 2 units 10 crew, bare bones, and then behind him are the 2 storm surges, one with the driver cannon, the other with the pulse blast cannon. The pulse blast cannon has the fragmentation gun, and then the other one, who has the driver, has the flamers. Both have the Invon, and both are rocking interceptor and precision shot. And then of course, last but not least, I have my 2 beloved Wyvaras, both with stimulant injectors, and that is it. So very compact, very, very small, packs quite a punch, and that is my 1850 points of Tau. Okay, and here is Martin's 1850 points of White Scars. So Martin, do you want to go through what you're rocking today?
Yeah, so we'll start with my HQ, which is Kasoro Khan on Moon Draken, the bike.
Nice.
He comes as stock, you can't upgrade him. We've then got a Librarian, level 2 Storm Seer, I should say, rather than Librarian. He's got Shield Eternal, plus he's also got from the White Scars relics, he's got the Hunter's Eye, which
horrible cheese.
There's then 4 units of bakes, all with veteran captains and 2 melters in each bake. One of the units has only got 3, hasn't got an extra 2 bakes with it. I've got a unit of 3 scouts over here. And then I've got 2 units of 3 attack bakes with multi-melters, Trilaz Predator, Vindicator with Siege Shield, obviously the Demolish Cannon, and naturally you put the Storm Bolter on the top.
Just for that weapon destroyed?
Yeah, because otherwise you know who's losing it.
Of course.
Fire Raptor, I don't need to say anything about that guy. And a Storm Talon to see what he does, and that's it.
Fantastic. Very mobile force. Very 6th edition, let me say, but actually, wow, it still does a job in 7th, and that's for sure. There's a few proxies. We've got a couple of weapons in there that are not quite as you see as what you get. This is more or less Martin's sort of 1500 old list that's kind of been re-updated with the formation in there to make it more of a 7th edition list. It should definitely challenge me. Marines are always hard hitting. He won't be scared to get involved with a bit of combat, and he's also got packing quite a bit of melter to really make use of that against my highly armoured Riptides and Storm Surges. So it's going to be interesting. We'll come back in a minute after deployment and we'll tell you about missions, and we'll get this game ongoing. So guys, we're at the start of turn 1. At the moment, White Scars are going first. They're about to scout up and absolutely smash me in the face. But I'm going to seize the initiative. Martin, am I going to seize the initiative?
Depends on that. You should use one of mine.
So here we go, guys. We're looking for a 6 here.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So the sigh of relief goes out as we go into White Scars, turn 1. Right guys, so the end of turn 1 for the White Scars. Little erratica. Basically it was a little mistake. We actually, obviously I should have seized after Martin scouted, but it only really benefited him, and actually he would have scouted anyway, so he was quite open with that, so it didn't make a difference. So, but apologies there for the slight rules error. Anyway, so movement phase, the White Scars came up exactly as I would expect them to, and flying up. I mean, look how close they are, it's ridiculous. So they all came flying up. Psychic phase came, and the Librarian did some work. He Psychic Shrieked the Kroot that were in that area there, took off 5, I rolled badly, and then they fled off the board. So that was a good start, giving Martin first blood, because first blood is in this mission. After that, shooting phase, I have never seen so many ones, well not for a long time. They really rolled badly, so lots of melters coming in, very few saves having to make. In fact, I think I only actually had to make like 1 save, and that I made on my Feel No Pain on the Wyvara. So many ones, it's completely ridiculous. In fact, I think Martin definitely needs some new dice for next turn, but I'm not going to lie, this is pretty intimidating. Everything, as you can see now, is basically on my doorstep. I've got some big decisions to make. I should be able to do mass damage now, that's for sure, but anything that's left kicking is definitely going to be smashing me right in the face next turn. As far as objective wise, Martin needs to have units in his board, which is obviously he's not going to bother with because he's White Scars. And then the other one, he needed to hold objective in my deployment, which is currently on at the moment, which is this one here. I need to hold objective 1, sitting there in the middle of the board, and I need to get into Martin's deployment zone, which even with the White-Eyes, I don't think is going to happen this turn. So it might be a not a very high score of Maelstrom turn this turn, but now let's see whether, for the kill points, I can start to rack them up as we go into Tau turn 1. Okay, so end of Tau turn 1, a good turn. I just asked Martin whether he thought this was more or less damage, and he actually said less damage, so just shows the fear factor that this Tau awesome assault is capable of. So what happened? Well, in movement phase, pretty much everything sort of shuffled around. I just tried to make sure I had a bit of a wall to try and defend the commander, as I know that this army is big time, got him in their sights. The Storm Surges came forward a little bit, again, I sort of was part of the master plan. The white-eyed jumped as far forward as they possibly could to just try and get ultimate amount of damage done, and the Kroot, as this ruins, is actually dangerous because of the grenades or mines placed there by the scars before the battle. They're glued to the spot. So shooting phase, the Kroot shot into the attack bikes, took a wound, which is not too bad. The white-eyed did awesome damage. So the first guy, we had a load of marker lights in, I must say. So we had a load of marker lights into pretty much half. Well, a lot of them went into the attack bikes, and a lot of them went into Khan's unit. So the first white-eyed took out the attack bikes. Just boosting his ballistic skill by 1, their removing cover was just brutal, so they went down. The second white-eye targeted the attack bikes hiding behind this rock, and they didn't have any marker lights on them, so they did use cover. They managed to lose 1 of their number, but the rest of them with a 2-up save weren't going anywhere. Then the big guy shot, so absolute mass damage everywhere. So majority of their targets were focused on Khan's unit, but first of all they put some shooting into the unit in front just to make sure that they put some shots so they could then assault them afterwards. But then they unloaded with the D, with all the multi-missiles. I actually in fact even forgot to use my strength 10 large blast, which just shows how much shooting these guys have got, because potentially that might have been a vehicle gone, but there you go, it's my fault. And then after they unloaded the D, then I decided to then unload all of the one-use only missiles. They were boosted but not to D, but because there were 8 of them, they were strength 8 and I'd ignored the cover. Khan went down in the end to just mass shooting, even with his invuln. After that, the big guys then charged in on the unit in front of them. I did really well, I got really lucky. Martin didn't manage to take any wounds off me. My stomp was pretty effective, managed to take some damage there. There are 2 left. They did in fact fail their hit and run, which was disastrous. And they are locked in there with my storm surges, so we'll see what happens now. After that, in the assault move, the white-eyes moved on. This guy has jumped onto that objective within 3 inches to claim one of my Maelstrom. As far as the other Maelstrom, I needed to get into Martin's deployment zone. I failed to do that, but Martin has managed to get his objective, which is down here. He also did get obviously first blood for killing the Kroot. I have got Slay the Warlord. So all to play for at the moment. He's taken mass casualties, but now will come the counter and potentially some flyers coming in. Martin, do you want to roll for your flyers? Martin's half asleep, he's working too hard at the shop, and he's going to roll for his flyers.
It's only the one because the other comes on as an escort.
Oh, of course.
I know.
And the ones keep coming. You've seen it here, so you know they are coming thick and fast. So we go into White Scars, turn 2. Okay, so end of White Scars turn 2, a good turn. Martin needs to have a unit in his own deployment zone, and not to have any of mine in there. So obviously it's still all to play for as we go into my turn. So that's kind of that. As far as how the turn went, the bikes kind of did what they wanted to do. So basically, homed in round over here to make sure that they could deal with the commander and a lot of the drones. So just through, I did leave a little gap, made a bit of an error, and managed to get 3 bikes through. To be fair, they probably would have shot away the drones anyway. Managed to get through the gap. They pretty much unloaded over here onto the drones, killing sort of half of them from both the commanders and the other one. I did pass both my leadership tests, they stayed put. Other than that, I risked the shooting. So the snap firing guys, as well as these bikes, the Pred, the Vindicator, all went into the 2 Wyvaras. Just through bad rolling again by Martin and some hot rolling on my saves, I only in fact took 1 wound on this far Wyvara, so pretty good going there. That was more or less it. Then in the assault phase, he did quite comfortably take out the commander. The the Hammer of Wrath hurt quite a lot, and then just with his re-rolls being his designated target, the commander went down, and so did obviously the drones. There's 2 drones left there. They're still fine, and the bikes sort of scurry off that way. In the other assault, which was the big storm surges, I didn't take any damage, and then stomped the living daylights out of what was left of the White Scars. So those 2 storm surges are free to roam. So a good turn generally for the White Scars. They pretty much did what they needed to do. They are doing well on points, and they're getting quite a lot, and they've got 2 bonus points already, which is not great. But I have got all 4 of my heavy hitters, and still a fair bit of marker light support to go. So I think I can do a lot of damage in this next turn. So we'll see what happens as we go into Tau turn 2. Okay, so end of Tau turn 2, a solid turn. Thought it would be if I could escape untouched on the big guys. So he pretty much put the hammer down this turn. So movement wise, storm surges again, kind of kept being aggressive, moving forward, getting in as close proximity to as many units as possible, just to keep my options open. The White-Eyed Nova charged, one got it off the far side, the other one failed and lost a wound. So they've both taken a wound each. Again, this was not their jump phase, so they just kind of moved a little bit closer to their targets. Shooting phase, marker lights lit up the unit with the librarian in, and then after that the Kroot shot into these bikes, doing they kill one bike from that unit, which is not too bad result. They obviously didn't flee, they stayed put. Then the rest of the shooting we pretty much just unloaded on as many units as possible around this, so severely reduced the unit down here first, put the strength 10 on it. It did actually bounce back and hit mine, but then Martin thankfully rolled another 1, failed to wound me, and then we just carried on our assault, flamed these guys, put more shooting into them, caused loads of damage all over really, which is pretty good. I put the D shots onto the attack bikes. Martin decided not to jink and got away with it. I failed to hit, which was a good decision. So those 2 attack bikes are at full strength to do damage this turn. The White-Eyed over the far side did what he did best, which was just nuke that Vindicator with his cheesy haywire shots. No problem at all. The other one, who failed his Nova charge, obviously didn't have as many shots, took 2 whole points off that Las Pred, but didn't do anything else apart from glances, so that's still free to cause damage this turn. So as far as points wise, my White-Eyed is sitting on the objective I needed to claim. Martin is in my objective line, so stopping me from getting mine. I am in his, stop him from getting his. So we've kind of stopped each other scoring there. So I got 1 Maelstrom point for that turn. Martin didn't get any. He did get obviously Slay the Warlord. So as far as bonus points, he's racking them up. Kill points, I'm probably taking the lead now, I'd say quite substantially. But we should see now whether Martin's fires can come in on the second attempt. So 1 roll for both of them. Here they come. And they don't come in again. Martin, how's it going with them rolls? How we doing with rolls?
Haven't used these dice for 18 months, and they're letting me know that they're upset with me for not using them for 18 months.
So we go into White Scars turn 3. So, end of the White Scars turn 3. Again, as we saw, the Flyers failed to come in, big disaster there. So very few units left on the board, but doing what they needed to do, really, to be fair. So everything basically aimed up against the White-Eyed that was on the objective, and the Las Pred, really, after just getting off the hook last turn, rolled hot, and for a start I started to fail some saves. So I went down to just the 1 wound, and then the multi-melters from the attack bikes that again had got off lightly earlier, unloaded into him, taking him out, and taking him off the objective, a crucial point in the game, that one. The only other thing really that happened was the bikes down this side took some shots at the drones, didn't do any damage, then tried to make the charge and failed the charge, and that is pretty much it. So we'll see what happens as we go into Tau turn 3. So, bottom of turn 3 for Tau. I tried for the tabling, tried very, very hard, almost got it. So basically Storm Surges again just kept being aggressive, moving forward. The White Eye didn't overcharge because I keep failing it, and ultimately I didn't need it this turn. Did his big bounding leap over this side to make sure it was close to the Predator. The 2 Storm Surges basically completely annihilated everything that they could get to. The marker lights over there lit up the remainder of the bikes that had gone down that side, and then the crew were hitting on 2s in rapid fire range, cleaned up on them. So after the Storm Surges had dealt with everything around them, the only thing left were just 2 bikes that they charged, failed to do anything. Martin hit back, failed to do anything, and I didn't manage to stomp them down, and they did make the hit and run this time and have escaped back to also stop me from getting that Maelstrom objective. I needed to get all my units into his deployment zone, didn't manage to get that, and also I needed to get just outside my deployment zone, so I didn't get any of my objectives, which is a bit of a killer, but ultimately this turn was just all about trying to go for the table, which hasn't happened. So now the flyers will definitely come in. Martin will get the last hurrah to see whether he can do some serious damage to these guys before, with a bit of luck, we can take control of this game as we go into White Scars turn 4. Right guys, now that was a bit of a brutal turn for the White Scars. They now mean business. They're going to try and go out with a bit of a scream and a bellow, because in came the flyers, causing some damage on the way in, killed and wiped out one of the drone units, and then the rest of it went into Storm Surge, taking out 2 wounds from one of the Storm Surges. The bike then charged in against the White-Eyed, and down went the White-Eyed on the Hammer of Wrath. Really started rolling bad, so both White-Eyes are down. There is only 3 models left in this White Scars list. 2 of them are in the sky and they're going to be hard to deal with, and then that one biker that is definitely going to see some revenge in this turn. At the moment Martin is holding his Maelstrom. He's got 3 units in his deployment zone, so potentially that's, in fact 2 of them are flyers, so I'll take that back, but he's still, you know, he's got a bit of momentum here. We'll see what I can do as we go into Tau turn 2, Tau turn 4. So, end of turn 4 for Tau, trying to make it count now. With 2 flyers, it's always going to be quite difficult with very little anti-air. So what we did make sure is we moved up to hold this objective, because we need to do that, and then to try and make sure we take that last biker out. So a bit of shooting. We used the D shots at the big flyer. We marker lighted it but couldn't get any hits off on that. Failed with the D shots. Martin didn't jink wisely, so that didn't take any damage at all. So then the rest of the shooting went on the little what's it called? Storm Talon. Shots on the Storm Talon. So we went with the full 4d6 from each. Martin did jink. I only managed to get 1 glance through, but it is jinking, which has helped somewhat, and obviously the lone biker went down to the smart missiles. So pretty good round of shooting, pretty much all I could expect for. Martin's just on the ropes now, but we'll see what these 2 flyers can do as we go into potentially the last turn of the game, as we go into turn 5 for the White Scars. So, end of turn 5, we've done the whole turn because there's not much left on the board, so we just kind of ran through it quickly. So, in Martin's turn, where the flyers kind of carried on their journey, the big guy just decided to take out the crew, so he took out a massive big pile of them. I managed to pass leadership, so they didn't run, which is good. They're hiding behind there. I've got 1 drone left. I jinked because of their ability within the formation, so 1 survived again, didn't run, so he's staying put. And then the Talon unloaded on the Storm Surges, managing to get another wound off, which does give Martin a point to the Maelstrom for taking 3 off her Gargantuan. In my turn in return, I then just stayed on that objective. I needed to clear Martin off out of his deployment zone and have my unit in, so that was the plan. We unloaded on the Talon, took him out. Martin got unlucky. I didn't roll too hot, but he failed to jinx and crashed and burned there. And then over here, all I did was kind of hide away with the Kroot and move the drone to just try and keep him more survivable if that is possible. So at the moment I'm running away with the Maelstrom, and I'm probably winning the Purge the Alien as well, but we'll see whether the game goes on. Martin, do you want to roll that dice?
Are we looking for a 3-up?
Yeah, we're looking for a 3-up.
Nope.
And the game finishes. So thanks very much, Martin. Epic handshake. Cheers very much. But yeah, no, it was,
we know the result.
Yeah, exactly. So as it stands, I think Martin got a couple of good bonuses, but I'll win the primary and the secondary. Ultimately, the first couple of turns, the amount of damage that the Tau did really took it out. And actually, Martin's first turn rolling for that that shooting in the first turn really was his probably downfall. He needed to alpha strike me and take at least probably one monstrous creature down, or heavily hurt it at least. Coming out of that first turn with no real casualties made a big difference. That probably swung it overall. After that, it was always going to be an uphill battle, which, to be fair, Martin did well to last this long. It probably could have been a table in earlier, so he played smart to last it this long. But ultimately, the Tau firepower was a bit too strong this game. So we'll come back on the next game. But thanks for watching, guys. Again, I hope you enjoyed this. This road to the Las Vegas Open has been awesome. Again, please do check out Wargames. Awesome store. And yeah, amazing. So thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.